Hey everybody, welcome to the round 17 review after the Blues get the job done comprehensively against the Eagles. It was 17 goals, 14, 116 to the Eagles, 8 goals, 5, 53. In a game that we have not been able to get the job done in 8 years. It's been a long time. 2014 at the MCG when we beat them, when Troy Menzel kicked the winner. That was the last time we beat the Eagles. And unfortunately for us, we just, they've been a great side, obviously winning the premiership in that stretch since then. I think the last two times we played them were really disappointing. And in both of those matches, I felt like we should have won those games. And I think that's probably where the trauma for a lot of us was sitting, because we are still yet to have a full season like what we've had this year. This is the first of its kind. And so, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, there still is going to be some lingering thoughts of what we could potentially fall into. And, for a lot of us that have grown up knowing nothing but losing, there may have been a little bit of, this would be a classic Carlton game to lose. But that would only be the case if David Teague was still coaching or if Bolton was still coaching, because this is a totally different group. This is a group that has shown time and time again in season 2022 their ability to be professional, to stay hungry, to get the job done across the board. And, today we finally saw the real, mega, 10 goal plus performance that I think many were asking for, and it was probably one of the only few things that we haven't seen them do yet. We've had moments where we've really put teams to the sword in a quarter and sort of held on and managed the game, but today was different, because today obviously we start in the most phenomenal way. I mean, that first quarter was something, again, we just haven't seen the group do. We know we can score heavily, but the way that we defended in that first quarter especially, and obviously kept them scoreless, was very impressive. Very impressive. I think it was 17 inside 50s to us before West Coast got there first. So our defenders didn't even look at the ball for probably 15 minutes of that first quarter. And I had written down here, it was our most dominant quarter for the year. Now, quarter two, unfortunately, goes down in the history books as one of our more disappointing ones, and it's probably a reminder, and it goes to show that if you switch off just 5% across the board, because I still think we were attacking, and I still think we were hitting contests hard and defending as hard as we possibly could, maybe not as hard as we possibly could, but there was just a few moments where the extra handball wasn't made or the extra kick wasn't made, and it started getting a little insular, and it started getting a little selfish maybe at times. But credit to the group, responded, and then after halftime, I think they scored 7 or 8 points for the game, the Eagles. And that fourth quarter especially, we've seen quarters like that this year, like I said before, once in a game, and then we hold on. But to see 2 quarters like that in a game, like comprehensive quarters, and, I'm very well aware that you can't really expect 4 quarters of pure dominance. I don't think there's any team in the competition that does it, really. It's all about game management and mitigating when the momentum's not in your favor. But, the theme of what's been happening over the last few weeks is the source. And what happens at the source controls generally the rest of the game. And we got that right. I thought the midfield mix as a whole got it right. We didn't have 1 or 2 complete standouts. They were all really, really good. I think Walsh and Cripps, especially in the fourth quarter, they really lifted. And, we got the tall forwards to both kick 5, to kick 10 between them was special. We have been dreaming of what Harry and Charlie can do for years, and you look at that draft class and what it's doing right now. I think we're starting just now. This is year 1 of this group being good. That's, in my perspective, this is the beginning of it. And it's been a fascinating year, been a fascinating 17 rounds. We seem to have answered every single call this year so far, up until the end of round 17, where we've been challenged, whether it be in a loss or even in a win where it wasn't as good as what we were hoping for. and you just give full credit to everyone involved. It's been a real pleasure to be able to watch and enjoy and not sit here after games and sort of question yourself, like, what are we doing? Why do we watch? Why do we care? And to get games into these youngsters, the Honeys, the Motlops, to get games into them, I think is another critical part of this. I don't know what happens come finals time. And what I mean by that is when more of our best 22 players come back into this side, the McGoverns and the Jack Martins and the Zach Williams types, there are going to be some guys that are pretty stiff to miss out because they've put in a shift this season. They've been shuffled around, and I guess the selection headaches are the ones that you want going into finals. So I'm hoping, moving forward from this, I'm hoping that this is the beginning of, first of all, some good luck on the injury front. Just a little bit of good luck. If we can get just 6 to 8 weeks of luck on our side, get as close to our best team in and playing for 4 to 5 weeks leading into finals, I'm so excited. I've not been this excited in the lead up to a finish of a season since really 2011. 2013 was a drag because we weren't in the finals and it was frustrating. 2011 was a real come up. 2012 it all fell to the wayside, and I say this now with pure confidence. At the start of the year, I looked at 2011 and how they would go against this 2022 side. This is easily the best side I've watched, in my life. I don't really remember the 90s, so I can't really say I was there for it. But we're starting to really see things emerge. We're starting to really see some maturity take place, and that's special. Not only have we improved from this time last year, that's very clear to see on field, off field, in every facet of the club, we seem to have really improved, and the changes that we made seem to have really been the right ones. But the improvement from round one, the improvement from the early parts of the season where we'd get big leads and then we'd manage the game, we're now starting to win well. We had a really solid win against Freo, then obviously let ourselves down last week against the Saints, which, by the way, gets more irritating the more I watch St Kilda play football, but that is another story for another video. And then today, to not only put the game away early, but sort of be humbled a little bit and have the game come back onto even terms, and then find a gear to really put it away again. And lo and behold, get some percentage, because percentage will be a factor, not the most important factor, but definitely will be a factor come the end of the year, was pleasing. So I'm proud. I think Charlie Curnow was the player of the game. There was a real focus from him, I think, and Harry as well, when they went back and took their set shots, whether it was a snap around the body or just a normal set shot. They looked to be a lot more focused. It looked like at times the inaccuracy was starting to plague us again, but we were able to turn that around. And yeah, I'm stoked. That's a really good win. I'm very mindful that, big test coming up this week, and I don't want to completely disrespect West Coast, but this was definitely a game that I went into saying there's no negotiation. Like, this is a win. This is the way it's going to be. We have to win this game. It didn't even cross my mind that we would lose it. I did feel that West Coast would give us something at some point in the game because, they're professional athletes. And I just felt like over the course of the 4 quarters, we would be the better team. We are the better team, and we were the better team. So that's how I saw it. Also, massive shout out. This must be said. Those fans that were at that game today, you were phenomenal. It was so loud through the TV. The woof was louder than what it was in Melbourne, seemingly on the TV. We're going to have to ramp that up next week. That was really exciting, and another layer of connection with all of us seems to really be happening. And I think there's a lot of us that don't realize what's coming. There are some really special times coming. Even myself, I'm really aware that this is a turning point. You can't take anything for granted. Just because it's a turning point doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to win a flag, but there are some special seasons coming up for us if everything, stays stable and the commitment is there consistently. And that's the next part for us, consistency. We know we can win. We're very confident that we can win games. We're confident that we can win most, if not any game that we play. And now it's a matter of, can we stay consistent? Can we get on a run of 6 or 7 straight wins and just time it right leading into September? So I'm pumped. Can't wait for next week. but I also want to make sure we enjoy this because it's important to enjoy these moments. So what about you? What was your experience today? Were you watching it? Were you at the game? Were you watching it from home? How did you experience round 17? Let us know in the comments below and how you're feeling going ahead, knowing that we've got some of our players back, and what are your confidence levels like as we move closer and closer to our first finals berth in quite some time. We'll chat to you then, and go the Mighty Blues.